Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. In this video, I want to demonstrate to you from the Quran and the Bible that the prophets Moses and Aaron, together with the Israelites, left Egypt, and the purpose of them leaving Egypt was to perform Hajj or pilgrimage in what is known today as Petra, Jordan. But back then, at the time of the prophets Moses and Harun, it had a different name. We're going to get to this. I'm going to share you the name with you as well. If not in this video, it might, because I just don't want this to get too long, this might have a part 1 and part 2, but we'll see how it goes. You will also see from this video that both the Bible and the Quran complement each other. And all three major Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, should know this. It's in the Bible. But all three of them work together. I'm not saying purposefully, but unknowingly, to ignore this fact because it was not in their benefit. So this is huge. What you're going to learn from this video, it is huge. So if you're a Christian, if you're a Jew, if you are a Muslim, you have to know this. It's there. Allah has put it in the Bible and in the Quran for us to see, for us to know, and for us to understand. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to look at some Quranic verses and then we're going to jump into the Bible. So if by any chance you just you don't believe in the Quran, just hang in there. We're going to look at a couple of verses, and right after that it's going to be mostly Bible, and you're going to be surprised by what you see in the Bible. And I'm going to actually share some of the Hebrew version of the Bible with you as well, so you know exactly what's going on. So the first verse in the Quran that we are going to look at is verse number 21 and 22 of chapter 28. I'm not going to read the Arabic, but what it says is that when Moses was trying to flee Egypt, it says when he directed himself towards Midian, Midian was where Shu'aib was or Jethro. Bible calls him Jethro. He said, "Perhaps my Lord will guide me to the right way." So right off the bat, you have to have some question. Moses could have chosen any place he wanted to flee, right? But he intentionally chose Midian. Why? Moses, as a prince of Egypt, obviously knew, he was well educated, politically and geographically very savvy. So why did he choose Midian? So here you have to remember that Allah had already sent his messenger, his priest, Shu'aib or Jethro, to Midian. So Shu'aib was a priest of Midian. Majority of the people in Midian disbelieved in him and the stories in the Quran, and they disobeyed, so Allah punished them severely. So it appears that Moses, as a prince, and also most of the Israelites at that time who were with Moses, were aware that Allah's messenger, Allah's high priest, is in Midian. That's exactly why Moses chose Midian. And that's why he's saying, "Perhaps my Lord will guide me to the right way." So Moses is looking forward to receiving Allah's guidance by going to Midian. He's not choosing Damascus. He could have chosen so many other places, but he wants to go to Midian because he knows Allah's messenger is there. And by going there, he's hoping that Allah will also guide him and he will learn more. Okay, this is verse number 21, 22 of chapter 26. I just want to mention this so you are aware. Moses said, I did it. What does he mean by I did it? But killing that soldier, that Egyptian soldier. He's like, I killed him, basically. Then, while I was of those who had gone astray, the anamina dalim. So Moses is confessing, and Allah has put it in the Quran for us. Moses, who is Kalimullah, the person who Allah talked to, the only human being that Allah personally talked to him. So he is telling us, and Quran is confirming, that Moses was from the Dalin, from those who had gone astray. He was not on the right path. And it is in fact in Midian that Allah guides Moses to the right path through his messenger Shu'aib or Jethro. So Moses, before meeting Jethro, before marrying Jethro's daughter, Moses was not on the right path. In fact, he was from the Dalin, or those who have gone astray. But he believes in Allah through his messenger Jethro or Shu'aib, and he becomes a follower of Shu'aib. So naturally, you would expect him, now that he has believed in Shu'aib, for people to follow that religion as well. And this is way before Torah was revealed. Torah is not anywhere in the picture right now. This is way before that. Moses is a young person, and Torah has not been revealed. Now let's look at what Bible tells us about Shu'aib or Jethro. So Exodus 2 says, now the priest of Midian. So Bible calls Shu'aib or Jethro in this verse the priest of Midian. So Exodus 18, Bible again tells us that Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law. So again, the same thing. So I want you to keep that in mind. And then it says that Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had taken Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her home, along with her 2 sons. So Jethro was definitely the priest of Midian. As you can see, it's at the bottom of this. I have realized that sometimes YouTube shrinks the picture. So it's at the bottom. If you turn it to the original size, you're going to see the whole thing. But then Moses' son, obviously at this point, they were minors, because Jethro has to accompany them and brings them to Moses. If they were young adults, they could have gone themselves, right? But that's not the case. So they're minors, and actually that confirms the Quran. We're going to look at that verse as well. Exodus 18 again, Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. So that tells you how much respect Moses had for his father-in-law. As soon as he sees him, he bows down in front of him. And Jethro blesses Moses and the Israelites, says, "Blessed be the Lord who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians." And then later on it says, and Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and sacrifices to God. So he actually brings burnt offering and sacrifices. And remember, Moses at this point is a prophet. Harun is also a prophet. But it's Jethro that is doing that, because Jethro is a higher level at this point. That's how much respect they had for Jethro. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. So this is huge respect that Moses, Harun, and the Israelites are showing to Jethro. That tells you how important Jethro or Shu'aib was back then. How much respect Allah's prophets, Moses and Harun, and the Israelites at that time had for Jethro or Shu'aib. Now let's look at verse number 27 of chapter 28 in the Quran. He said, who is saying this? This is Shu'aib or Jethro who is saying this. Indeed, I wish to wed you one of these my two daughters on the condition that you serve me, that you work for me. It says ta'ajurani. It doesn't say ta'abudani. It's not really, it's when you hire someone. So basically you become my employee. You work for me. That you work for me. Here, that this serve is wrong. It doesn't say you serve me. So I didn't change this because I wanted you to see this. Ta'ajuran is when you hire someone. So it says you hire me, that you work for me as an employee for 8 pilgrimage, for 8 seasons of Hajj. Thamaniya Hijaj means 8 seasons of Hajj. Samani means 8. Hijaj means pilgrimages. It's a plural. It's more than 2. It's 3 or more. In this case, obviously, we know how many. It already tells us, right? It says 8, and then Hijaj is a pilgrimage. Now, if you were an Egyptian, how do you read this? It says Hegeg. They pronounce G as a J, Hegeg, and that's how it is also Israelites, because they came out of Egypt. That's how they pronounce it as well. I wanted you to keep this in mind. We're going to get to the Bible again. So Thamaniya Hijaj or Samaniya Hegeg, and Hegeg is the plural of Hajj. It means 8 pilgrimages, 8 seasons of Hajj. Then it says, but if you complete 10, it will be as a favor from you. And I do not wish to put you in difficulty. You will find me if Allah wills from among the righteous. So this verse, so far from everything that I showed to you, it should be very obvious that Shu'aib or Jethro was a very, very important person. Very well known by the respect that was given to him. Because of the respect that was given to him through both prophets Moses and Harun and the Israelites. He actually is in a position that blesses the Israelites and the and Moses and Harun. So as Allah's messenger and his high priest in that region, he must have been the custodian of Hajj. He must have been the person who was organizing and leading the Hajj and pilgrimage to Mecca, which we know as Petra, which took place during the last 4 months of the year. So he must have been organized, but at this point he's older. Because of that, he needs help, because they have to travel, the caravan has to go, he has to preach, he has to praise, he has to go to the pilgrimage. So because of that, he employs Moses, and Moses here is young, he has just fled Egypt, right? He's just fled Egypt. He's like, Moses, you marry one of my daughters on the condition that you work for me for 8 seasons or 8 pilgrimages. And if you want to do 10, that's good too. So that Moses could actually help him organize pilgrimages, Hajj. So that's what he's doing. Yes, they had sheep as well. All wealthy people back then in that region, they had sheep, they had camels, they had all sorts of, this was part of the wealth. They didn't have cars like we do. But that's not why Jethro hires Moses. Jethro or Shu'aib here in this verse does not say that I want to hire you to shepherd my sheep. That's what people think. People think Moses was a shepherd. That's a huge mistake. No. This is not what the Quran tells us. Shu'aib hires Moses for a specific purpose, 8 pilgrimages. It means that he has to go with Shu'aib to at least 8 pilgrims, 8 pilgrimages, 8 Hajj, or Thamaniya Hijaj. 8 pilgrimages. It means he has to go to those Hajj. So Moses, before he was appointed as a prophet, before he was sent to Egypt, we know that Moses performed at least 8 pilgrimages, perhaps 10. I don't know. Quran says because maybe he completed 2 more years, but we know at least 8 to 10 pilgrimages were performed by Moses before he was sent as a prophet to the Egyptians. So brothers and sisters, at this point, Moses has done 8 to 10 pilgrimages. He's an expert in organizing and leading the Hajj. It's not an easy task. Thousands of people come and gather from around that region. So really you need to have special skills to be able to organize such events. The starting points or ahilla, they have to be organized, and making sure that people have enough food, enough water, and that things are done correctly. The logistics are huge. This is the kind of things that people go get MBA nowadays for, or project managers get involved, program managers. And Moses had all those skills. Why? Because he was the priest. He was the prince of Egypt. He was highly educated. As a prince, he had people working for him. He was leading people. He was a leader of men. Moses was a leader of men. That was his job. And Shoaib or Jethro recognizes the talent that this young man is bringing to the table. And the fact that he's very trustworthy. And he's strong and he can handle the difficulties and difficult situations. So he hires him, he employs him. He doesn't say, I want to employ you to shepherd my sheep. That would be a waste of this young man's talent. He hires him for something much bigger. He employs him to help him with organizing Hajj and pilgrimages. I'm hoping that this is very clear. This should be very clear, I'm hoping. Okay, now that you know that, I want to go back to Exodus 18. And let's read this together again. This is the verse that said, Shoaib took Moses' wife Zipporah and his 2 sons to see the Israelites. And I told you that Moses' sons, Moses' children at this point were minors. Look, what does Quran tells us? 8 to 10 years. So if Moses, let's say for the sake of example, we don't know, it was somewhere between 8 to 10 years, but I assume it's 10 years. If Moses finished 10 years, his sons at this point are probably between 7, 8 years old. Not older than 9. They could not possibly any older than 9. So it's 9 years or younger. And you see, Bible is confirming that by telling us the other side of the story, that Shoaib actually had to accompany them, that they were not adults. So Shoaib takes Moses' wife and his sons to him. I just wanted you to see how Quran and the Bible and the Old Testament, here the Torah, are complementing each other and feeding into this story. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I want you to pay attention here. This is where it gets really interesting, and Bible gives us some details, crucial, some critical details here, that through ages, Jews, Christians, and Muslims have tried to hide, unfortunately. So I'm going to just take this cover off these verses so you can actually see the truth. I'm going to unveil the truth of these verses. So you all, those of you who truly believe in Allah and His words, doesn't matter, Bible, Quran, Torah, it doesn't matter. Psalm of David, doesn't matter. If you truly believe in Allah and His words, you're going to see the truth. I'm going to unveil this for you, okay? So Exodus, verse number 1, Exodus 5:1. It says, afterward, Moses and Aaron went and said to Pharaoh. So this is in Egypt. At this point, Moses and Aaron are prophets. So Moses has gone back to the Egypt as Allah's messenger, okay? Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go. Why? Naturally, Pharaoh is asking, why do you want to go? Where do you want to go? And Moses answers that they may perform Hajj for me in the wilderness. So basically, thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go, that they may perform Hajj for me in the wilderness. Now, Exodus, and I'm going to show you the exact word that is used here, and you're going to be amazed because it's the exact same word that is used in Arabic. It's Hajj. The only difference is that Egyptians, they pronounce G as G. And because Israelites lived in Egypt for so many years, they also learned to pronounce J as G. So they also pronounce Hajj. They don't say Hajj, they say Hajj. So I'm going to show that to you. Let's look at Exodus verses number 8 to 10, Exodus 10. So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh, and he said to them, go serve the Lord your God. So Pharaoh is telling Moses, but which ones are to go? Which one of you are going to go? Moses responds to Pharaoh, we will go with our young and our old. We will go with our sons and daughters and with our flocks and herds. For why? Because we must perform Hajj for the Lord. So Moses is taking the Israelites out of Egypt to perform Hajj for the Lord in the wilderness. Now we'll get to that wilderness later, okay? But let's just focus on this. Okay, so this is Exodus 5:1 that we just reviewed together. Let my people go that they may perform Hajj. Look at the Hebrew. I wanted to show you the Hebrew version of this word. It says Yahogu. Again, I told you Egyptians pronounce it as Yahogu, but Ge is J. Yahoju. It means that Yahoju means that they perform Hajj. Yahoju, that they might be Yahoju, they perform Hajj. Look how they have translated this. Is that they may hold a feast. So this is yuharrifun al-kalima and mawadi'ah. They change the words from their places. This is what the Quran tells us. This is exactly what the current Muslims are doing in the Quran as well. They change the words. يُحَرِّفُونَ الْكَلِمَ عَنْ مَوَاضِعِهِ. They change the words from their position. They change the meaning of it. Yahogu. So this is, again, you see the exact same word. And you can see, they say hagag. So it comes from the root of hajjaj, which is the same as Arabic. Hajj comes from the root of hajjaj. It's the exact same way. It says, now let's look at the translation of this. I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Okay, I'm hoping that you see it better. So this is Yahoju, and this hajjaj, they pronounce hail, that's khe, so it's a hajjaj, but it's the hajjaj. So they say hagag, it's hajjaj. So you see this as well. This is the Hebrew version. And this is let's look at the meaning. A primitive root, properly to move in a circle, to march in a sacred procession, to observe a festival, which is Hajj. That's what you do, Hajj. You go to Mecca, you're just doing tawaf, you're looking around, and you go around them, and you're observing. That's what it is. So this is the first one. Let's look at the next one. I'm going to show that to you as well. This is Exodus 10, that Moses tells Pharaoh that we're going to go with our families and we're going to take everything with us as well, because we must perform Hajj for the Lord, right? So let's look at the word here. So what is this again? The same thing is Hajj. They say again, I mentioned, they say it's Hajj. Again, you see the Hebrew, the transliteration Hajj, Hajj. They pronounce G as G, right? Again, a festival, the same meaning, and you're going to see the exact same thing, that we must hold a feast to our. They have translated it wrongly. Again, as an overview, I want to make sure you understand. So both verses wrongly translated as hold a feast or festival, and Hajj is a feast or festival. You could say that, but this is actually a very specific process, that this is pre-Torah. Remember, Torah is not revealed yet. This is pre-Torah. There's no Torah yet. Torah is revealed later on Mount Sinai. This is when Moses is talking to the to the Egyptians. There is no Torah. So Moses at this point is a true follower of Shoaib or Jethro, follows that religion, which is the religion of Abraham. There's no Judaism, there's no Christianity, there's no Islam. So just push that aside. None of those religions exist yet. Torah has not been revealed. So what religion is Moses following at this point? What is Moses' religion at this point? It's the religion of Shoaib or Jethro. Because remember, Moses in Egypt, what does he say? أنا من الضالين فعلتها إذن وأنا من الضالين. I did it then, and I was from those who had gone astray. I was not on the right path. I was misled. So Moses was not on the right path. Moses did not have a good religion before he met Shoaib. It is after he goes to Midian and meets the priest of Midian, Jethro or Shoaib, that he is guided. That's why Quran says, فَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مِدْيَنَ قَالَ عَسَى رَبِّي أَنْ يَهْدِيَنِي إِلَى سَوَاءِ السَّبِيلِ. When he directed himself, when he looked towards the direction of Midian, he said, wishfully, in a nostalgic way, he wished, he says, maybe Allah will guide me to his right path. Technically, he's begging Allah, guide me to your right path. I want to learn. And Allah hears his prayer and guides him and takes him to Midian to meet Shoaib, his messenger. And I assure you that Shoaib had the books of Abraham and Ishmael and Ayub or Job. So Moses becomes a follower of Shoaib. So at this point, there is no Judaism, no Christianity, no Islam. So Moses' religion is the exact same religion as Shoaib's religion. Now, later on, I will show you where, in next part, I think we are going a little bit over time. In the next part, I'm going to show you where this wilderness is. And Bible actually tells us exactly. Bible is a map and tells us exactly where it is. And Quran confirms it. Quran confirms it. They complement each other. Again, we saw that I showed to you based on those verses. I demonstrated to you that Moses had done pilgrimage at least 8 to 10 times with Shoaib. He was the organizer, and Shoaib was the high priest of Midian of that area. So he was the messenger of Allah. The Midians had been destroyed once. So he was the leader. He was the imam of that group. He was the high priest of that region. He had to be during the Hajj season. He had to be there in the original Mecca. And that's what it happens. So and that's why he hires Moses, so that Moses can help him because he was older at this point. Again, remember, Torah has not been revealed yet. And as you can see, both the Bible and the Quran complement that confirmed each other in this story. Actually, just like the Quran, the Bible also tells us exactly where the true Mecca is. So we are going to look at it. I was planning to go over it, but we're going to look at it together in the next video. So stay with me. You're going to learn a lot. I just don't want to make this video too long, okay? Peace and blessings to all of you.